Hi guys, welcome to another video. I start a new series where I review my favorite TV show in depth, each episode one at a time. That show's Tales from the Crypt. I just love the show so much. I grew up with it, and I just recently bought the new DVD box set. I prefer the original release of the DVDs, but I still watch the show a ton today, so I'm gonna go back and revisit each episode, even though I've seen them a million times each. I'm gonna go back and watch each one and give you an in-depth review. They shouldn't be too long because a lot of the episodes were maybe like 25, 26 minutes, long. So yeah, I'll try to do the best I can for an in-depth review for one of these shows there. But I just want to talk about the intro and the music. It's just this iconic show. When you're a kid and you see the camera panning, it goes through the gate and it goes through that the decrepit mansion, goes through the secret passageway, the book, it's like a bookcase, and then it goes down the stairs to the crypt keeper's lair, and he comes popping out of the coffin with that iconic laugh. I mean, I just love the show, and that intro is just so perfect. I mean, it still holds up perfectly today. And that music by Danny Elfman, he's a decent composer. He does a lot of Tim Burton films there and everything. So I mean, that whole opening really gets you hooked, ready for the show to start, So I just had to talk about the opening before I talk about the first episode, because that intro is pretty much the same throughout the whole 7 seasons. So yeah, I think it's aired from 89 to 95, 96 around something like that. I miss this show. I miss the quality. I just loved all the actors. It's just unbelievable how many great actors pass through the series, even directors. And Walter Hill directs the first episode, the one where I'm going to review today. It's The Man Who Was Death, starring William Sadler. Excellent episode there. It didn't make my top 10, but I feel like it's a real solid episode, maybe top 20 for all the episodes that were ever made for this show. But yeah, it was originally aired, this episode, June 10th, 1989. So it's it's going back over 30 years. And William Sadler, he's just starting to make a name for himself. So he got the gig for the first ever episode, and he ended up doing Demon Knight, and he starred in another episode too later on, if I remember correctly. So it'll be fun to revisit the whole show and see all the intertwinings of the actors if they've done multiple episodes or whatnot. But yeah, the first episode is directed by Walter Hill, who's made many good films, and one of my favorites, The Warriors. I just love that film so much. So the producers, the directors, I mean, it's all top notch to the show. Is really crafted by people that love this type of shows, and I think they loved the comic books when they grew up and everything. So I mean, yeah, The Man Who Was Death is the first ever episode, season 1, episode 1. It's about 25, 26 minutes long. And William Sadler plays like the kill switch guy, who pumps all the juice in the electric chair. And it's unbelievable. He's like real cocky about it. He loves his job, but he has no remorse for the people he's putting to death, And so the episode starts with just a single shot of a character we're not too familiar with. He's in a jail cell. And we find out his name's Charles, and he's on death row. He's being brought to the chair, and William Sadler is narrating throughout the episode, and he's telling you about this guy who's about to get put to death, and that he killed someone, because he's working for years for this guy, and he just wouldn't give him a raise, so he ended up killing him. So it's his turn to be put to death, and William Sadler is kind of narrating what he did and about his job, and he says, I looked him right in the eyes. Some men can't do it. They get nightmares. Me, it doesn't bother me. I looked him right in the eyes when I pulled that switch. He's just crazy. He's just a real crazy, character. He's bitter, and everything. But for the most part, he's just a normal person for that we think of at the beginning. But as the show goes on, it's just crazy. I actually like the next shot. He after he puts that guy to death. It's just a beautiful shot. It's a shot of like the highway, and he's like on the overpass, and he's like walking, and he comes into frame, and it's all lit up. It's at night, and he's like, just talking again about the city and electricity. He's like addicted to like electricity and all that stuff. So when he's talking about the city all lit up at night and stuff like that, it's just a really beautiful shot. And he's talking about himself and everything like that. But we find out after that he goes to a diner, and he finds out that well, actually, he's narrating that he doesn't like the gas or lethal injection. It's not man enough. He likes electricity. He's like kind of talking, like just narrating a little weird conversations like that to the camera. Then he ends up going to a diner, and I'm sure, crazy because it's just a 25-minute episode. Everything's so quick. He goes into the diner, and sure enough, he sees on the television that they're going to outlaw the death by electricity. So he's out of a job. We find out the next day. He's talking to the warden, and but supposedly he's been doing that for 12 years. But he was started in a different section for a few years before that. So when they say we're going to cut that job there, he can't even go back to his other job that he was doing before that, because they think, all the prisoners know he's the one who, flipped the switch and he killed all these prisoners. So they don't think it'll be safe for him to go back to his normal job in the prison. So they have to basically fire him. So it's, he's like, oh, well, what can you do? He heads to the bar, you got to think things over. The bartender is played by a decent actor too. He's in a couple episodes too, I think. He's the guy from Total Recall that Schwarzenegger shoots in the head. I think his name's Roy Brock Smith or something like that there. It's the little chubby guy that makes Schwarzenegger take the pill, and he's sweating. That guy, yeah, he just has a few bits as the bartender. So he's there to think things over, and he's like telling the bartender, they should make executions live, they'd be the best ratings ever, So he's just, like a bit of conversation with the bartender. And then after he leaves the bar and he's just walking the streets, he's like, we eat shit, at the end, we are shit, he's like just talking really like more bitter now, He's walking around the streets looking at all the scummy people. He's like, look at these junkies across the street, at least they're honest though, like they'll take any money they get just to cheat, like to tease death, with their drugs and everything. But then he's like, they're slime, they're 2-bit hustlers, they're no good, like he's just, now he's like starting to like unravel a bit, and he's not sure what to do because he's out of a job and everything. So he goes to like a court hearing, and it just sits in the crowd, and we see the biker from T2, Schwarzenegger gets the leather jacket off of in the bar. He plays a little bit of I don't know, a terrible guy. We supposedly killed someone, but because of some type of I don't know, some formality, some problem with the warrant or something, he gets off. So he's in the court hearing and he sees this, and of course he wants to he would love to do the electric chair to this guy, He wants to punish these people even though it's been outlawed, So but he's an expert with electricity, so he's going to take matters in his own hands. William Sadler's great in this film. So pretty much the next day, he knows where that guy kind of lives, that biker guy, and he hooks up this gate where he has to unlock to get into his house, and he just touches that gate and he sends him like 10,000 volts of electricity, kills him pretty much instantly. So he's fries pretty good on the fence. It's a cool little scene. And then of course he, like the next day he's at like another court hearing, and we see a couple that get it off. We don't really know what they did, but he narrates that this man got his wife murdered to inherit her money type of deal. So yeah, we just get a quick little backstory, and sure enough, he shows up at their place. He's got their hot tub all ready to go, So they're the guy and the girl that just got off, at court. He fries them in their hot tub and everything like that. So he gets that couple, and it's like quick. It's like I said, it's 25-minute episode, so it just flows really quick. And then the next day, I guess, we don't even see him in court. We just get a glimpse of a newspaper clipping on the ground, and these editor girl got off, that should have been guilty, So she's like a stripper. He goes to the strip club, and he's like, of course, narrating more and more. He's like talking pretty much to the camera and like all his thoughts, So it's a pretty cool episode. And he's looking at her dance, and he's like, I wonder how she's going to be dancing with 10,000 volts running through your ass, He's like, oh, but I mean, like, why did he have to pick, her work to try to kill her, I'm sure there could have been a easier place to try to pull this off. But I don't know, he already has where she's dancing in this type of cage. He has it hooked up already. So he's like, he goes in like behind, I don't know, the bar or something. He's in this room by himself, all ready to electrocute her. The switch won't go off. We find out that the cops, I guess, they're onto him all this time, and they cut the wires so she won't get electrocuted, and they kind of trapped him in that room. So now he's like the criminal, you know. So yeah, it comes full circle, and he's on death row now. And at the beginning, when the guy was like, you know, begging for his life, the governor's going to call, he's going, you know, and he's like, yeah, you know, they always say the same thing, but the governor never calls. And sure enough, when it's his turn, he's like, come on, you know, he's going to, just wait, the governor's going to call, you know, like, again, you know me, I worked here, you know. So yeah, it's true, like some of the people that are putting him to death, he's worked with for many years too, you know, so... yeah, and this is the funny thing too. Just in the nick of time for his death, they reinstate death by electrocution. So now it's legal again. So he's gonna die by electricity. It's just an off the wall type of episode. But I mean, it's really a decent episode to start the show rolling there, to get it rolling. Yeah, so I'm gonna go through each episode one by one, and yeah, it's pretty much the end of episode 1. He gets put to death, and and the guy who's flipping the switch now, he looks him right in the eye too, you know. So he's not afraid to look the guys he's putting to death in the eye as well. So yeah, I don't think I missed too much there. Yes, and so I'm gonna hit episode 2 up very soon there. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I love the show so much, so I'm definitely gonna. It's going to take a while, all 7 seasons, but it's going to be a blast to go through. So I hope you enjoyed the first episode. Until next time, take care, guys. Bye.